Welcome to our amazing chemistry class. Our mission for this class is not just to teach you chemistry, but is to empower you with the skill and the knowledge so that you are prepared for the future market. Well, let's look at today's market. For the last 10 years, if we look at employment, for the last 10 years, there is an increase in non-routine cognitive as well as manual, where you have this consistent almost the same, but also decrease in routine cognitive as well as routine manuals. Why is that? That's because the automation and the power of computers and AI have replaced most of these jobs. Where non-routines is almost impossible to replace by robots or some kind of AI softwares. And if we look at this is very intimidating to some extent. Because if we continue to learn, or if we continue to teach the way we learned 10 years ago, it would not prepare our student for the future market. Now let's look at another data that tells us about today's market, as well as the market of the futures. Look at unemployment rate. Look at routine manuals. It decreased dramatically, where non-routine cognitive, as well as non-routine manuals, right? Look at the blue. It decreased slightly, okay? Well, what does that tell you about the employment of tomorrow? It's require you to think critically. You're not going to do the same thing every day, but every day you are required to develop that critical thinking skill so that you can apply it on a daily basis, okay? Now, what does that tell you about how we are going to transform our instruction to support you to be a critical thinker? And in order to understand that concept, let's dive into our syllabus. The main website that we are going to use for this class is streamlineed.com and i.streamlineed.com. Before we dive in and look at the syllabus, we want you to understand that things happen in life, and if you have an emergency, just let us know. And we will provide you that individualized intervention so that you can be on track again. Remember, this syllabus is for the general condition, okay? So let's look at the grading. And you all know that you want to have an A in this class, and we know you can do it. All you have to do is be honest with yourself and be honest with your learning process. And we are here to support you throughout the whole entire process. Grading, assessment with 60% of your grade. You are not allowed to retake any test or quiz for higher score. All tests and quiz are closed notes, okay? And if you have any unauthorized device or cell phone, you are losing at least 10% every time we remind you. Of course, if you're cheating, it's an automatic zeros, okay? So keep that in mind. And what we have next is assignments. Assignments including class activity, homework, and lab activity, which worth 30% of your grade. Now, this 30% seems very little, but the whole entire test and quiz are based on this. The number one reason why people fail our class or struggle so much because they fake or they're not being honest when they do their assignments. They just copy each other's work. So again, be honest with yourself, and we are here to support you throughout the whole entire process. Now let's talk about the different aspects of the assignment. The very first one is the interactive videos. Now this is where we get to the ideas of how we modify and redefine our instructions to support you. Traditionally, if you walk in a classroom, this is how we learn in the back of the day. We'll be sitting in a chair for like an hour long and listen to our teacher talk and talk. But by the time the class is over, we don't remember a single thing. So now what we do is we focus on you to give you the opportunity to think critically. And how we do that, if we take our content, we take an hour lecture and we condense to like 5 to 10 minutes. Now you are being taught very precisely and very straightforward, and in a way that it's taking away all the distraction from you. And you are now the critical thinker. You are now responsible to think about the content. But in the meantime, what we are allowed to do now is we can provide support whenever you need it. You have that meaningful one-on-one intervention. And that's the key thing. In life, you always need help. But in order to need help, you need to know what you struggle with. So we create this real-life situation where you are now the sole learner of the content, But in the process, you're not just learning the content, you learn how to think critically, and you learn how to collaborate and ask questions when you need help. It's no longer sitting there and waiting for the answer and copy down notes. Do you see how we prepare you for the futures? And after teaching for many years using this strategy, we realized the number one reason why students struggle in our class is because they fake watching the video notes, or they fake watching everything in general. How do you do that? You mute the video and you go on YouTube and you turn on the music, so you listen to music, so you just copy down everything. Or you just take a picture of somebody's notes and copy and you say, oh, I watched the video, but it's so difficult, so I don't understand. And those students in the end always tell us the honest story. Every year we have an end of the year survey and ask them why do they struggle. And the number one reason is because they fail to watch the video honestly. So please, please, please learn from their mistakes. Watch these videos or all our lecture videos fully and try to understand it. Don't fake watch it. We are there to support you. If you struggle, just ask for help, okay? And in order to encourage you, what we need to do is, and in order to encourage you to be honest with yourself, of course, the backend data from the website actually tell you if you are prepared or not. And of course, we also have that exit ticket to assess you and making sure that you are on task. Now, what do we do with those students who are not on task and fake watching all the time? Expect a parent call from us until you realize that you are responsible to be the greatest person you can be and prepare for that future market, okay? In the end, it's all on you. Our job here is to empower you with the opportunity and the skill so that you can be prepared for the future market. Now, how do we know? Well, of course, every time we have a video, there is an interactive practice on streamlineed.com to assess what you have learned from the videos. And if you struggle and you get a 0 on it, and you didn't ask a single question throughout the period, what does that tell you? That just tells you that you didn't do anything. You just sit there. That's pretty much it. So again, in order to do well in this class, you have to be honest with yourself, okay? And ask for help. Now, let's look at how we grade this and how we can make this fair to you. Because we know that we grade based on correction. It's no longer just, oh, I scribbled something and turn it in for credit. We grade based on correction. So in order to be fair, we look at the average top 3 score from all classes, usually top 3, okay? And that would be the highest possible point. So that way, if there are errors, if we make mistakes, you will now get accommodated, so your score will be higher, okay? And that's how we do everything in terms of making sure that every grading is fair for all students. Now, notebook. Make sure your notebook is organized, because at the end of each unit, we are going to turn it in. You are going to total your score, and you're going to turn it in. And if you don't turn it in on time, you lose 10% per day. So if you did not turn in for 10 days, of course, you are going to lose 100% of your earned grade. Now, in most cases, we call home to tell your parents, say, hey, this particular student forgot to turn in the notebook. So make sure that the student understand or communicate with their parents, say, we need to turn this notebook in at the right. So that way you can communicate with your parent why you did not turn in your notebook, and you can communicate to us so we can provide you the support. Now let's talk about another essential thing in this class is the daily bell quiz and exit ticket. This is the number one reason why people get such a low grade and they don't get the A that they want, is that every day when you walk in, okay, when you walk in our class, there is always a bell quiz and an exit ticket at the end of class. The bell quiz is automatically open and closed at the beginning of class, and it's auto-graded, okay? So you know exactly what you get wrong. So that way you can review and ask for help. And we have the data to review and reteach, so that way you understand what are we going to cover again, so that way you can fully master it. And of course, there's always exception for those students who did not do anything at all. We will deal with those particular students separately. And then the exit ticket, again, we remind you that you have to be engaged and be honest in this class, because at the end it is an exit ticket that you are required to apply what you have learned throughout the period. And for the exit quiz or the exit ticket, you are not allowed to use your notes. Where bell quiz, it is open notes. But the only thing that you have to do is you have to be independently and quietly work. That's why we use the term quiz, because it's function like a quiz. But for the bell quiz, it is open notes. For the exit ticket, it is closed notes. So that way we can look at the data to understand why we need to reteach a particular topic or modify a lesson for tomorrow to better support you. Now, what if we have homework and you understand certain thing, but you saw some particular problem you don't know how to do at all? So to get full credit, it's very easy, okay? All you have to do is copy down the problems, try your best to solve it, okay? You can copy down the problem, and write down a specific question that you struggle at that particular moment, and don't come in and say, I don't know how to do this, and it's a blank piece of paper. Well, when you open your business one day or when you work for somebody, what do you think is going to happen to you? So keep that in mind. Our job is to prepare you not only the content, but the skill to prepare for the future market, okay? And if you have any missing lab activity, you are going to provide an alternative lab assignment where you're going to interview students about the lab and learn the content. You are going to be assessed about the content of the lab. Now, what if you forgot your homework? You have 2 I forgot pass per semester, okay? And again, this pass will allow you to do late assignment and turn in for full credit. And then what about makeup work? Remember, Streamline Ed is on 24/7, so you can access Streamline Ed anytime, even you go to play your sport, or you are sick, or you stay at home, or you go on vacation early. This is access 24/7. So always be honest with yourself. If you are absent, look at streamlineed.com. What are you missing? Rather than come back on the next day and ask, what are we missing? You know what you're missing. Don't need to ask us. Our goal is to prepare you with that skill, that organizational skill, and about yourself. You will know what you need to do to be successful. And of course, to make up any missing work, what you need to do is look at the makeup binder, find your missing worksheet when you walk in on that day, and tell the teacher the next day when you're done with it. So that way you get full credit, okay? Don't wait to the very end. Now let's talk about the most important aspect of this class, and that is participation, even though it's only worth 10% of your grade. Because if you don't participate in this class, honestly, you're not going to pass, okay? So participation, you need to bring your Chromebook charge at least 30%. And how do you know if your Chromebook is not charged? You're going to ask us, hey, can we borrow a charger? And that's how we know. So if you don't have a charged Chromebook, you're not going to earn that 10 point for that day. And in order to regain that 10 point, you need to see us after class to do some kind of alternative activities to redeem the 10 point. Now, here is the most important thing, is your cell phone. Raise your hand, you have your cell phone with you right now. And most of you do, right? You're probably waiting for that Instagram or that Twitter account to kind of vibrate and say, hey, I have a new message or some kind of update. So cell phone has completely changed the dynamic of a class, and that's because students are addicted to cell phone, okay? Everybody's pretty much addicted to cell phone. They're always waiting for some kind of message and update on Twitter or Facebook or whatever, okay? So in order to prepare you, like I said, this is the most important thing. The most distracting thing going to be stopping you from getting that A in this class is your cell phone. I can guarantee you. So what we designed for you is to make sure that you protect your cell phone. At every desk or every seat, there is a pouch. And what you're going to do every single day is you are going to open that pouch, unzip it, and put your phone in there, put your earbuds in there. I know some of you have those wireless headphones, okay, or earbuds that you can Bluetooth and listen to music. I want you to put all of them in there and zip it up. Now, any student who has an F or D, we are going to lock your cell phone as well as your earbuds until you escape that D, okay? And why are we doing that? Because we care about your grade and we care about your learning process. And maybe you just need to be reminded that you are capable of doing anything if you are not distracted by the cell phone, okay? For participation point, we try to update it weekly. And that way we can notify your parent and your parents are aware of it. If we see a consistent in terms of inappropriate behavior, we will contact the parent. So that way we provide an intervention. Now, to be fair, what we're going to do is we are going to take the total point based on the average of the top 3 students from all classes, okay? And that's how we make sure that the top score or the high score is being fair for all students. Then we have the overall grades for this class. 90 to 100 is an A. 80 to 89.9% is a B, 70 to 79.99 is a C, and we are not going to round your grade up at all. So make sure you are always on task, okay? And 60% to 69.9 is a D, and less than 60% is an F, okay? And that's how your grade are being calculated. Now let's talk about let's talk about the routines and policy and rules for this class. First thing first is emergency hall pass. Each semester you are given 2 emergency hall pass that you can use for any reasons, but you have to realize based on school policy we are not allowed to have you walk out of class or go out in the hall during the first 10 minutes and the last 10 minutes of class. That's just school policy. But during that time, if you need to do anything emergency, going to the restroom or something like that, you just fill out the hall pass, raise it up, and just wait for us to give you the permission to walk out and exchange with our school pass, so that way you're not going to get picked up by any campus supervisor and so on, okay? And that's pretty straightforward. But let's talk about our class expectation. Of course, always try to enter the class quietly as possible because other students are working on bell quiz. And do not eat in our class. This is a science class. You don't know what has been here. There are toxic chemicals that can completely give you a bad time in the restroom, okay? And you don't want to do that, right? Or give you rash on your skin, especially when you consume them, okay? And cosmetic, keep them in your bag, okay? Especially, don't apply cosmetic in this class. You don't know what's on the table. And work until the teacher dismisses you. Never get up and wait at the door. You're no longer in elementary school anymore. Wait for the bell to ring and the teacher will dismiss you, okay? And if we see students who are getting up and wait at the door, we are going to call you back and you're going to stay another 2 minutes extra with us, okay? So keep that in mind. You want to get out early? We're going to make you stay another 2 minutes extra. So raise your hand for permission. Please, please, please. We are working with not just you, but we're working with 36 students in class. We need to respect each other, and that's a very important skill, respecting yourself as well as respecting other people. And then what we have here is when the teacher is talking or when other students are talking, please give them your full attention, okay? And always lenting, because when you can have a strong composure about how you learn, you feel more positive, you breathe in more oxygen, and you feel a lot more happy. If you just go like this, of course you're going to feel tired. And you can make everybody look tired as well. Now let's talk about some of the inappropriate behavior in this class. Of course, this is a tough one. For some reason, some students think it's funny to make some inappropriate comment or very offensive comment or things that they think is funny, but it's really not. It's just, this is high school. It's just that people now are more mature than ever in the back of the day. So don't expect to do the same thing in cartoon and expect people to laugh like when you watch a cartoon. It's no longer like that. This is reality, okay? So when you do something that's very offensive or very inappropriate, people just look at you and they just ignore you, okay? And you lose their respect, and you lose our respect. Now, come to class without supplies. That's a common thing, especially without a charged Chromebook. And if you're missing a pencil, or if you need a pencil, just come up here, exchange us with something, and we let you borrow a pencil or pen. If you need for the whole day, just let us know, okay? And another common thing is that students would go to class without class supplies. If you ever need a pencil or pen, let us know. All you need to go up, beginner class, exchange us with something so you can borrow it. And you need for the whole day, just let us know. We will let you borrow for the whole day. And here's the most important one. Having your heads down in class or look like you're not trying at all. Remember, our class is a class that prepares you for the future market. And in order to do that, we have to keep the rigor up and challenge you all the time. That's how you learn. You learn by being challenged, not because you're doing something easy, okay? And that's the key thing. Next, let's talk about getting out of your seat without permission. When you are randomly getting out of your seat, it's very disruptive to everybody. So especially during class time, okay? If you have an emergency, just raise your hand and let us know. So keep that in mind. Another one is work on other classwork without the teacher approval. And this is very common because sometimes we procrastinate and we want to make sure we can copy from a friend and do last minute work. Hey, can I take a picture of your work so I can copy it? This happens all the time. So what we do with those work is that we collect them and we give them to your teachers. And that way, make sure that it will not happen again in our class. So if you procrastinate in the class, keep that procrastination out of this class because we always have something important to do in this class, okay? And the last thing is raise your hand. And another common inappropriate behavior is raise your concern inappropriately. And again, sometimes when we struggle with something, we lose our patience and we just blurt it out without any consideration for other student or your teacher feeling. So if you have any concern, please talk to us one-on-one after class or before class. That way we can provide you the best support. You know that we care about your success and your learning experience. Our job is not just to pass you, but to prepare you for the reality after high school. And lastly, let's talk about the very most important thing is cheating, copying, or plagiarize on test, quiz, or homework. Of course, it is an automatic and zero and a parent call, an administrative referral. And if you are repeatedly doing this all the time, you will get an F for the whole entire semester. So please, if you struggle, always ask for help. And that is all about our expectation in this class and how you can go through this class and be successful and getting that A's in this class. If you have any question or concern, please let us know.